When it comes to feeding tarantulas, there are a lot of options. So, which one should you choose? Hi, this is Mark from Tarantula. In today's episode I would like to talk about feeder insects. Here is a variety of options available for us Polish tarantula keepers, and I know there is some stuff, for example in the United States, that is unavailable for us here in Poland. For example, the hornworms or gummyworms, as Tarantula Cat named them. The first category I would like to talk about is fruit flies. Fruit flies come in two sizes, at least in Poland. The first one is the melanogaster fruit fly, the smaller fruit fly. Those are excellent for very small slings. For example, the latrodectus that I have, or the jumping spiders when they were still tiny slings. Those slings don't have any trouble to catch those and to feed on them. The second size is the hydrei fruit fly. Those are bigger. They are great, for example, for small tarantula slings, because they are juicier, they are bigger. One common thing about those, the fruit flies that are bred in captivity for our tarantulas and spiders, those have a mutation that they cannot fly. If you are buying a colony, because you don't buy them by piece, you are buying a whole colony, it is pretty easy to make your own let's call it substrate, feeding substrate. There are some recipes how to make that, and you can grow the next generations of fruit flies with the same wing mutation, if you're careful and no other fruit flies come inside and crossbreed with your colony. Second category, and those and all the other ones, they have one thing in common, except the fruit flies, of course. They grow and have some stadiums of growth. Fruit flies start as eggs, then grow to a larvae, and technically already evolve into a full fruit fly, which we feed our spiders, tarantulas, etc. But for example, those pretty common feeder insects here, the mealworms, they grow from a size of 2 millimeters when really tiny, and they grow till 2 centimeters or something before they are starting to pupate into this little beetle, this little black beetles here. So you can choose the size that you need for your spider that you want to feed. The same goes, for example, with the superworms, but when you are having superworms, you probably want to have the big ones. A lot of people like mealworms and superworms to feed their animals. I am not really a fan. They are okay, but they have a tendency to dig down when the tarantula is not interested. So there are other feeder insects that I prefer, but absolutely a good and viable option. What is also a big advantage is that you can throw them in a tub full of food for them, and you can leave them there. They don't really need that much moisture. From time to time you can throw an apple, a slice of apple, leave them and everything will be fine. The next category of animals, I have two types of feeder insects. Those are crickets and locusts. Locusts? What's the plural form? I believe locusts, yes. A lot of exotic animal keepers have them, uses them, and they think they are great. I'm not really a fan of them. Have you seen those? So as you have seen, those can jump pretty high. Not really an advantage or disadvantage, just a trait of them. First, the advantages. They are common, they are readily available, and probably more common than, for example, those red runners here, at least in pet shops, so you can get them pretty easily. But yeah, there are some downsides. There's a high cannibalism among those species, so if you are feeding them poorly, then they will eat each other. And there is the second disadvantage, in my opinion the biggest one. Those can definitely attack your tarantula if the tarantula is, for example, after molting, maybe not hungry. But yeah, if you're looking, if everything is alright, then probably nothing bad will happen. So let's get to my favorite category of feeder insects, roaches. Roaches are very popular. There are two common species which are used with exotic pets. The first one is, of course, the good old red runner. Red runners, the Shelfordella lateralis, come in various sizes. The smallest size is, of course, the baby roach, excellent for feeding tarantula slings. And yeah, those are not adult, those are sub-adult. They can be great to feed, for example, juveniles. The second most popular one as feeder insects are dubia roaches. Dubia roaches are great for feeding big tarantulas because yeah, they are juicier, they are bigger. Why do I prefer red runners over, for example, crickets? Crickets are loud. Dubia roaches or red runners, yeah, they sit quietly. You only hear when they are moving inside the container, and that's it. They eat everything, so you can throw in some oats and dog food, cat food, sometimes a vegetable or a fruit, and that's it. But there is a big downside. If a cricket will run out of its enclosure, it will die off in a few days. If red runners get out of the enclosure, yeah, they can live very, very long. And I even heard of some situations where they even bred inside the home. So now it's your turn. What is your favorite feeder insect for your tarantulas, other spiders and mantises? Let us all know in the comments, and of course tell us why. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing, ring the bell, leave a comment what you like, what you want to see in future videos, and as always, thank you for watching. Tarantula out. But there is a big downside, especially with road runners.